Relatives say that victim was out celebrating her birthday, which was this past Thursday, when she was shot and killed on the south side. She leaves behind 6 children, the youngest less than a year old.
No, it still feels like a dream. All of it seemed like it's a dream. She was a wonderful person, kept a smile on her face, good parent, everything about her was good.
Police say Taylor was shot in the chest and left to die on the cold pavement in the 1800 block of East 79th Street around 5 a.m. after celebrating her birthday. Why her life was taken is a mystery to her mother.
On February 9th, 2025, at around 5:23 a.m., police found a woman lying on the ground in the South Shore neighborhood. She had a gunshot wound to the chest. Paramedics took her to the hospital, but she was pronounced dead on arrival. That woman was Jamia Taylor. 3 days after her birthday, she was found on the ground, shot in the chest, on a street in Chicago's South Shore neighborhood. There were no reports of robbery. No suspects have been publicly named. The motive is unknown. Police haven't said if this was a targeted shooting or a random one. Detectives from Area 4 are leading the investigation, but they have not released major updates. The public has not been told if there were cameras nearby or witnesses. This case joins hundreds of unsolved murders in Chicago, adding to the larger problem of gun violence in the city. A woman shot dead, a case with no clear direction, and no one behind bars. As it stands, the questions are simple. Who killed Jamia Taylor? Why was she shot? Was she targeted? Or was this random? The facts are limited. The investigation is open. The killer is unknown. The longer the case stays unsolved, the lower the chances of answers. This is a case of Jamia Taylor, and this is how it unfolded. Welcome to True Crime Unmasked. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. The show where we uncover the disturbing crimes tearing communities apart and the haunting truths hidden behind closed doors. These are real stories, real individuals, real consequences. Stay tuned for more captivating stories. Now let's dive in. Jamia Taylor was a 29-year-old woman living in Chicago. She was not a celebrity or a famous person, but she was well known in her neighborhood and on her social media platforms. To those who knew her, she was more than just a face in the crowd. She was a hard-working mother trying to build a future for her family, despite the challenges around her. Jamia was a mother of 6 children. All her children were under the age of 12 at the time of her death. That means she was raising 6 young children, all needing food, school, clothing, and care. Being a single mother of 6 children is not easy for anyone, and Jamia worked hard every day to provide for them. It's important to understand that everything she did, every job she took, was to keep her children safe, fed, and in school. She worked 2 jobs to support her family. Her first job was in retail. This could mean working at a store, selling clothes, or helping customers buy products. Retail work is tiring, with long hours standing on your feet, dealing with different types of customers, and often not being paid much. It's the kind of job many people have to take just to survive. Her second job was as a security guard. Security work can be dangerous, especially in a big city like Chicago. Guards have to stay alert, watch for fights or theft, and sometimes deal with risky situations. Many people take security jobs because they pay a bit more than basic retail jobs, but it also means long shifts, often overnight or late into the night. Jamia likely had to juggle her time carefully, working, coming home to take care of her kids, and then heading out again for another shift. Even though she worked hard, Jamia also spent time on social media. Online, she used the name Maya Dabadi. This was her online identity. Many people today use nicknames or creative names on social media, and hers showed confidence. She posted pictures, shared her life, and probably used social media both to connect with friends and also to escape from daily stress. Being active online gave her a voice and a way to show another side of herself to the world. Her family described her with clear words. They said she was beautiful, smart, hardworking, fun, and energetic. These are not just nice words. These descriptions tell us who she really was in her everyday life. Beauty is about how people saw her on the outside, but being smart and hardworking shows the kind of person she was inside. Fun and energetic means she didn't let stress stop her from living fully, especially for her children's sake. Jamia lived in Chicago her whole life. Chicago is a city with good parts and bad parts. It has great schools, parks, and strong communities, but it also has areas with high crime rates and poverty. Growing up and living in Chicago means learning how to survive and work hard in tough conditions. And that's exactly what Jamia did. She stayed in her city, trying to create a better life not just for herself, but for her 6 kids. One thing her family kept repeating is that she didn't deserve this. By this, they meant the violent death that ended her life. They said she was doing her best. It's not just a sentence. They meant that she was fighting every day to stay afloat, working 2 jobs, raising 6 children, staying positive online, and dealing with all the struggles of life in Chicago. She was pushing forward. Every decision she made was focused on giving her kids a better life. Her life wasn't easy. She struggled like many single mothers, especially in a city like Chicago. But what made Jamia different is that she stayed strong for her family. Many people give up, but she didn't. She kept working. She kept providing. She kept showing up, both in real life and online, no matter how tired or stressed she was. Everything she did showed a woman fighting against the odds. On the morning of February 9th, 2025, the city of Chicago woke up to another violent crime scene. The weather that day was cold, as expected for early February. Streets were mostly empty around that time, with only a few people moving around. It was early in the morning, just after 5 a.m., when the emergency call came in. A woman had been found lying on the pavement in the 1800 block of East 79th Street, located in the South Shore neighborhood. That street is not far from busy areas, but during those early hours, not many people were around. The person who called 911 did not stay on the scene for long, and police have not publicly released their identity. The caller simply reported that a woman was down, unresponsive. When the police and emergency medical responders arrived, they discovered that the woman had been shot. The wound was clear, 1 gunshot to the chest. There were no reports of multiple shots fired or any ongoing gunfire in that area during that time frame. Jamia Taylor was a victim lying on the cold street. She was not conscious. Paramedics moved quickly to provide emergency care on site before placing her in the ambulance. She was taken to University of Chicago Hospital, which is one of the main hospitals handling critical trauma cases on the south side of Chicago. But despite their efforts, medical staff could not save her. She was pronounced dead shortly after arriving at the hospital. Police immediately secured the area as a crime scene. Yellow tape surrounded parts of the block, and investigators started their work. The focus was on collecting any available evidence, identifying possible witnesses, and looking for security cameras from surrounding homes or businesses. As of that time, no suspects were identified and no arrests were made. After Jamia Taylor was found shot, detectives from Area 4 of the Chicago Police Department took charge of the investigation. Area 4 is responsible for investigating homicides and violent crimes in parts of the city, including the South Shore neighborhood where Jamia was found. As soon as they were assigned a case, detectives began gathering evidence, speaking to people in the area, and searching for possible leads. But despite their efforts as of now, no suspect had been named publicly. Chicago police have not identified anyone connected to Jamia Taylor's death. From the first hours after the shooting, investigators have been working to find out who may have been responsible, but the case has produced very few public results. Even though they have been working behind the scenes, the police have kept most information private. No motive has been shared by the police. There's been no explanation about whether this was a targeted shooting, a random crime, or connected to anything from Jamia's personal life. Usually, in homicide cases, police give some indication if they believe the victim may have been targeted or if the shooting could have been accidental or mistaken identity. In Jamia's case, no such details have been released to the public. As of the latest official update, no arrest has been made. No person has been brought in for questioning publicly, and no one has been charged with Jamia's murder. The Chicago Police Department simply lists the case as open and active, meaning detectives are still investigating but have not yet made progress they are willing to share. Authorities have said the investigation is ongoing. This is standard procedure in homicide cases. When an investigation is open, it means detectives continue to collect evidence, search for witnesses, and follow any tips they might receive. But the lack of updates often shows that police may not have strong leads yet, or that they are keeping information private to protect the investigation. Reporters have repeatedly asked the police for updates about Jamia Taylor's murder. News stations and journalists covering violence in Chicago have reached out for comments and press releases. But in response, police have provided very little information. Official responses have mostly been short statements like, "The investigation is ongoing," with no real explanation of what detectives are finding or what direction they're taking the search for a suspect. In cases like this, it's normal for the public to be asked for help. That's exactly what has happened here. The Chicago police have asked members of the public to come forward with any information or tips that could help solve Jamia Taylor's murder. They often ask people who were in the area at the time of the shooting, or anyone who might have seen or heard something unusual, to speak up. Anonymous tip lines are also provided, but as of now, no tips have led to any public breakthroughs. One of the key problems with the investigation is the lack of surveillance footage. Police have publicly confirmed that there is no available CCTV footage showing the actual shooting. Surveillance cameras often help solve violent crimes by providing images of suspects' vehicles or other key evidence. In this case, the lack of video footage is making the investigation much more difficult. With no suspects, no motive, and no video evidence, the murder of Jamia Taylor has now turned into a mystery. Investigators are facing several possibilities, but none have been confirmed. Could someone have simply seen Jamia on the street and attacked her for no clear reason? Was this a planned killing by someone who knew Jamia personally? Could it have been connected to a personal conflict that police have not yet uncovered? Could someone have targeted Jamia by accident, believing she was someone else? Mistaken identity has been the cause of many shootings in Chicago. Right now, all three possibilities remain open. Without more evidence, police cannot rule out any theory. Until someone comes forward with information or new evidence appears, the murder of Jamia Taylor will remain an unsolved case. The investigation will continue, but as of now, the mystery only gets deeper. The death of Jamia Taylor left behind more than just a crime scene. It left behind 6 children without a mother, a family asking hard questions, and a community once again facing the reality of unsolved murders in Chicago. The family of Jamia Taylor reacted with a mixture of shock, pain, and confusion. To them, Jamia was not just another person found shot on a Chicago street. She was a hard-working mother trying to provide for her children. Her death didn't make sense to them. And even days after the murder, the family could not find answers to explain why this happened. Relatives spoke with local news outlets. In their interviews, they described Jamia as a woman who worked hard, stayed focused on her kids, and stayed out of trouble. She had just celebrated her birthday 3 days before she was killed. One of her relatives said, "She didn't deserve this." Another family member added, "She was just trying to take care of her kids." These statements reflect a family struggling to understand how someone could murder a woman who was not involved in criminal activity. They describe her as a normal, working mother who focused on her children. Her life centered around raising her 6 kids and working 2 jobs to provide for them. She worked in retail and also worked as a security guard. By all accounts, she was not someone involved in conflicts that would lead to murder. But despite all of this, she was still shot dead on a street in her own neighborhood. The murder left 6 young children behind. All of them will now have to grow up without their mother. They are now part of a growing number of children in Chicago who lose parents to gun violence every year. For the family, the grief was not just about Jamia's death, but about what it would mean for the children. With no mother, those kids would now face life without her guidance, love, and support. While the family struggled to process what had happened, the community also reacted to the news of Jamia's murder. In Chicago's South Shore neighborhood, gun violence is not new, but each murder leaves behind new pain, new fears, and new questions. After Jamia's death, people in the neighborhood expressed grief. Many were disturbed by the fact that the murder happened so close to home. It wasn't far from homes, businesses, and areas where people walk every day. Yet even with people living close by, there were no clear witnesses or leads. Some people in the neighborhood were scared to talk. Fear of retaliation is common in Chicago's most violent neighborhoods. People often know things about crimes but choose to remain silent because they don't want to become targets themselves. Others simply don't trust the police to protect them if they do come forward. This silence is part of what makes solving murders in Chicago so difficult. Even when people have information, they may stay quiet. And when witnesses don't speak, cases like Jamia Taylor's often go unsolved. What happened to Jamia Taylor was not an isolated case. In Chicago, especially in neighborhoods like South Shore, murders happen often. And more often than not, those murders go unsolved. Police might visit the scene, collect evidence, and speak to potential witnesses, but without direct information, the cases don't move forward. Jamia's case followed that pattern. Police confirmed that detectives from Area 4 were handling the investigation. They said the case was still open. No suspects had been named. No arrests had been made. And at the time of reporting, the police had not released any new information to the public. For the community, Jamia's death was both shocking and familiar. It was another murder in a long list of violent incidents that often don't get solved. Even with grieving families pleading for answers, many of these cases stay cold. Jamia's family continued to ask for help from the public. They urged anyone who knew anything to come forward. They said they just wanted justice, not just for Jamia, but for the 6 children left behind. If this story touched you deeply and made you question what's real, be sure to tap the like button and share it with someone who needs to hear it. For more gripping true crime stories that unravel the hidden truths behind heartbreaking cases, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. You won't want to miss our latest episodes, investigations, and powerful conversations. Thank you for joining us on this journey to uncover the truth and fight for justice. Together, we can shine a light where it's needed most. Stay safe, stay alert, and we'll see you in the next story.